The first time I saw Noah Carter, he was standing in the middle of a crowded farmer's market, holding a broken umbrella over a little girl he had never met. Rain was falling hard over Portland, Oregon. People were running for cover. Vendors were pulling plastic sheets over their tables, and I was standing there with my phone in my hand, staring at a message that had just ruined my career. If this gets online, your company is finished. I should have been worried about the company. Instead, I couldn't stop watching Noah. He was tall, wearing a dark green jacket that was already soaked through. His black hair was wet, and one hand was holding the umbrella while the other helped the little girl find her mother. He didn't know anyone was watching him. That was what caught my attention. I had spent most of my life around people who smiled when cameras were around and changed the second the cameras disappeared. Noah was the opposite. He was kind when nobody was looking, and 3 days later, I would ask that stranger to become my fake boyfriend. I just didn't know that pretending to love him would become the most real thing I had ever done. My name is Ryan Miller. I was 26, lived in Portland, and worked as the marketing director for a small outdoor clothing company called North Peak. It wasn't a huge company, but it was growing fast. We made hiking jackets, boots, backpacks, and camping gear. Our brand was built around one simple idea: be real, go outside. Funny, right? Because my life had become anything but real. The problem started on a Friday night. I had gone to a company party with some coworkers. I wasn't drunk. I wasn't causing trouble. I wasn't even doing anything embarrassing. I was simply arguing with my older brother, Jake. Jake and I had never gotten along. He thought I cared too much about my career. I thought he cared too little about anything. Someone recorded us arguing outside the restaurant. The video showed only 30 seconds, but 30 seconds was enough. Someone posted it online with the caption, "North Peak's golden boy treats family like garbage." The video spread. Then someone found an old photo of me at a party. Then another. Suddenly, people online were calling me fake, spoiled, cold, and selfish. My boss, Karen, called me into her office Monday morning. She closed the door. "Ryan, sit down," he said. She pushed her phone across the desk. There were thousands of comments. "This is hurting the brand," she said. "I know. We need people to trust you. I understand." She leaned back. "Your brother says you haven't spoken to him in 6 months. That isn't the whole story. People don't care about the whole story." That sentence stayed with me, because she was right. People rarely wanted the truth. They wanted a simple story. Good guy, bad guy, perfect boyfriend, perfect life, perfect company. Karen looked at me. "You're going to lead our community charity campaign next month." I blinked. "Me? Yes. That sounds good. It would be good if people liked you." "Ich sterte her." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying you need to show people who you really are." I almost laughed, because the last thing I wanted was strangers deciding who I really was. That evening, my best friend Marcus came to my apartment. He brought pizza. He also brought an idea that I thought was completely insane. "You need a boyfriend." I nearly dropped my slice. "What? A boyfriend?" "No." "A nice boyfriend." "Still no. Someone people will like." "Marcus." "What? I am not hiring a boyfriend." Marcus shrugged. "Then don't call it hiring. That is exactly what it would be." He smiled. "Call it a relationship contract." I stared at him. "You've officially lost your mind." But Marcus didn't give up. He knew I had a charity event coming up. He knew cameras would be there. And he knew I hated fake smiles. Then he showed me a dating app. There was a profile with no shirtless pictures, no jokes about hookups, and almost no information. The profile name was Noah. Under his picture, it said, "Quiet person. Coffee lower. I fix things for a living." Marcus looked at me. "He's perfect. You don't know him. I know he looks normal. That is not a reason. It is when your life is a mess." 3 days later, I went back to the farmer's market. I found Noah near a small repair booth. He was fixing an old camping stove. I stood there for almost 5 minutes before speaking. "Are you Noah Carter?" He looked up. Yes. You don't know me. That makes two of us. I smiled nervously. My name is Ryan. I know. I froze. You know me? You're the guy from the video. My stomach dropped. Oh. Noah returned to the stove. Don't worry. I don't care. That surprised me. Why not? He shrugged. Because I don't know what happened. I stared at him. You're the first person who has said that. Maybe people should try that more often. I laughed. For the first time in weeks, I felt normal. Then I made the stupidest decision of my life. I have a strange question. Noah looked at me. How strange? I need someone to pretend to be my boyfriend. He stopped moving. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Then Noah slowly put down the screwdriver. You're serious? Yes. Why? I explained everything. The company, the charity event, the video, the pressure. He listened without laughing. When I finished, he said, How long? 2 months. No. 3 weeks. No. 1 week. He smiled. You're bad at this. I know. Noah packed his tools. I don't pretend to be someone's boyfriend. I nodded. Okay. I turned to leave. Ryan. I looked back. He studied me. Why did you ask me? I could have lied. Instead, I said the truth because you helped that girl in the rain when nobody was watching. His expression changed. I remember you. I thought you might. He looked away. Give me 1 day to think about it. I nodded. The next morning, he texted me. 3 weeks. No kissing. No sleeping together. No lies between us. We tell each other everything. I stared at the message. Then I replied, Deal. I had no idea that last rule would destroy every wall between us. Our first public appearance was at a community cleanup event near the river. I expected Noah to be nervous. He wasn't. He walked beside me like we had known each other for years. When a photographer approached, Noah smiled naturally. I whispered, You look too comfortable. He whispered back, You're the one who hired me. I laughed. The photographer caught the moment. By that evening, the picture was everywhere. People loved us. Comments started appearing. Ryan finally looks happy. They are adorable. This is the first time I've liked Ryan. I should have been happy. Instead, I felt guilty. Because Noah wasn't acting. At least not all the time. The next few days became strange. We had coffee together. We went grocery shopping. We visited a local animal shelter for the charity campaign. We even cooked dinner at my apartment. Noah was terrible at cooking. He burned pasta. How do you burn pasta? I asked. Talent. You're a repairman. I fix machines, not noodles. I laughed so hard that my stomach hurt. He looked at me. What? Nothing. You're staring. I like your laugh. The room became quiet. I looked away. That wasn't part of the contract. Neither of us mentioned it. But things slowly changed. Noah learned that I hated thunderstorms. I learned that he called his mother every Sunday. He learned that I kept old movie tickets in a box. I learned that he wanted to open his own repair shop one day. One night, we sat on my balcony while rain hit the streets below. Noah looked at me. Why don't you talk to your brother? I sighed. Because he thinks I abandoned our family. Did you? No. What happened? I stayed quiet. Then I told him. After our father died, my mother became sick. Jake stayed home to help her. I left for college. Then I got a job. Then another. I kept telling myself I would come home next weekend. Then next month. Then next year. Jake never forgot. I did. I wasn't trying to leave them. I whispered. But you did, Noah said gently. His words hurt because they were true. I know. He didn't tell me it wasn't my fault. He didn't make me feel better. He simply stayed. That was the first time I realized something dangerous. I trusted him. A week later, we had dinner with my coworkers. Everyone loved Noah. My boss pulled me aside. Where did you find him? I smiled. Long story. She looked at us. You seem different. How? You listen now. I looked across the room. Noah was laughing with Marcus. I guess I found someone worth listening to. Karen smiled. I hope he's real. My heart stopped. She didn't know. But I suddenly wished she did. That night, Noah walked me home. We stood outside my apartment. Our 3 weeks are almost over, he said. I know. Are you okay? I looked at him.
No.
He took a breath. Ryan, I don't want this to end. He looked down. Neither do I. The rain started again. Neither of us moved. Then Noah stepped closer. I could hear my own heartbeat. He whispered, we said no kissing. I remember. Then why are you looking at my mouth? I smiled. I'm trying not to. He laughed softly. For 1 second I thought he might kiss me. But he stepped back. We should stop. Why? Because I don't know where pretending ends anymore. Then he walked away. I stood there alone. And for the first time, I realized the fake relationship had become real for me. The next morning, I received an email from Karen. We need to talk about Noah. My stomach dropped, because someone had found out. Karen's office was quiet. She didn't look angry. That made it worse. She turned her laptop toward me. There was a message from a reporter. We have evidence that Ryan Miller's relationship is staged. Couldn't breathe. Who told them? We don't know. My phone buzzed. It was Noah. We need to talk. I called him immediately. He didn't answer. I tried again. Nothing. I left work and drove to his repair shop. He was standing outside. His face looked different. Not angry. Hurt. You knew someone was going to find out? He asked.
No.
Then why did Marcus contact my old employer? I froze. What? Noah showed me his phone. There was a message from Marcus. Months earlier, Marcus had worked with Noah's old boss on another project. He had contacted him to make sure Noah was trustworthy before introducing us. But the message looked bad. It made Noah think I had investigated him. You checked my background. I didn't. But your friend did. I didn't ask him to. Noah shook his head. You should have told me. I didn't know. That doesn't make it better. I stepped closer. I never wanted to use you. Then what did you want? I didn't have an answer, because the truth was terrifying. I wanted you. He stared at me. That's not enough. I know. You wanted a perfect story for your company. That was how it started. And now, I swallowed. Now I don't care about the company. Noah looked away.
Ido.
What? I care about what happens to you. He was quiet for a moment. But I can't be someone's secret. You're not. I am. Noah, your company needs a boyfriend. I don't care. But I do. He walked inside. I followed. You think I'm ashamed of you?
No.
Then what? He turned around.
I'm afraid.
That stopped me. He looked exhausted. I spent years fixing things for other people because I didn't know how to fix my own life. His voice shook. I finally trusted someone. He looked at me, and then I found out I was part of a plan. I wanted to tell him everything would be okay, but I knew better, so I said the only honest thing I had left. I don't know how to make you trust me again. He nodded. At least that's honest. Then he closed the door. I went home alone. The next morning, the story broke. North Peak's marketing director fakes relationship for public image. The internet exploded. My boss suspended me. My mother called. My brother called. Even people I hadn't spoken to in years had opinions. But I didn't care about any of it. I went to my brother's house. He opened the door and stared at me. What do you want? I need to apologize. For the video? For everything. He crossed his arms. I told him the truth. About Mom. About college. About work. About how guilty I felt. I didn't ask him to forgive me. I simply said, I should have come home. He looked away. Then he said something I never expected. You were young. I shook my head. That doesn't erase it.
No.
He looked at me. But it explains it. We sat in silence. For the first time in years, my brother hugged me. It didn't fix everything, but it was a start. That evening, I went to the North Peak office. I returned my company phone and keys. Karen looked surprised. You're quitting. Yes. You don't have to. I know. You built half this campaign. I know. Then why leave? I thought about Noah. Because I don't want to spend my life proving I'm a good person. Karen smiled sadly. Then what will you do? I don't know. For once, I wasn't afraid of that answer. I walked outside. The rain had stopped. My phone buzzed. A message from Noah. I'm opening my repair shop next month. I stared at it. Then another message arrived. If you still want to be part of my life, come help me paint the walls. I smiled. I didn't know whether that meant friendship, forgiveness, or something more. But I went. Noah's new shop was small. It had gray walls, old wooden shelves, and a large window facing the street. When I arrived, he was standing on a ladder with a paint roller. You came. You asked. I didn't think you would. I almost didn't. He looked at me. I picked up a paintbrush. Where do you want me? He smiled. Anywhere. For the next 3 hours, we painted. We didn't talk much, but it wasn't uncomfortable. Sometimes silence is peaceful when you're with the right person. Finally, Noah put down his roller. I owe you an apology. I looked at him. For what? I assumed the worst. You had a reason. Maybe. He sat on the floor. I was scared. So was I. He looked at me. Of what? Losing you. His eyes softened. You already had me. I sat beside him. I didn't know how to keep you. You don't keep people, Ryan. I know. You choose them. I smiled. Then I choose you. He looked down. Don't say that because you're lonely. I'm not lonely. Don't say it because you feel guilty. I don't. Then why? I took a breath. Because when everything went wrong, I stopped caring about what people thought. I looked into his eyes. And the only person I wanted beside me was you. Noah didn't answer. He reached for my hand. His fingers slowly wrapped around mine. I hated that fake relationship, he whispered. I laughed softly. Me too. But I loved the parts that became real. My heart jumped. What parts? Coffee in the morning. Your terrible pasta. Your terrible jokes. I have good jokes. No, you don't. I laughed. He smiled. Then his expression became serious. The part one loved most was when you stopped pretending. I squeezed his hand. I want to keep doing that. He moved closer. This time, neither of us stepped away. Our first kiss wasn't dramatic. There were no cameras, no crowd, no perfect sunset. Just two people sitting on a dusty floor in a half-painted shop. And somehow it was perfect. A few weeks later, Noah opened his repair shop. My brother came. Marcus came. Even Karen came. I stood near the door and watched Noah greet people. A reporter recognized me. He walked over. Ryan, are you two officially together? I looked at Noah. He smiled. I turned back to the reporter. Yes. Is this another publicity move? I laughed.
No.
Then what is it? I looked at Noah again. This time, there's nothing to sell. The reporter lowered his microphone. And what happens next? I smiled. I don't know. Noah came beside me. We'll figure it out. That was our new beginning. Not perfect. Not planned. Not fake. Real. Months later, I started a small freelance marketing business. My first client was Noah. His repair shop became successful. He even hired 2 people. My relationship with Jake slowly became stronger. My mother started calling every Sunday. And Noah? He became the person I called when something good happened. And when something bad happened, he became my safe place. One night, almost a year after we first met, we stood on the same riverbank where our fake relationship had started. The city lights reflected on the water. Noah looked at me. Do you remember the first day? You mean when I offered you money to pretend to love me? He laughed. Yes. That was probably the worst idea I've ever had.
No.
He took my hand. It was the best. I smiled. Really? Because it brought me to you. I leaned against his shoulder. The rain began to fall. Just a few drops. Noah opened his umbrella. I looked at him. Are you going to hold that over me forever? Absolutely. I laughed. Then he kissed my forehead. And I realized something. Sometimes love doesn't begin with a perfect first meeting. Sometimes it begins with a bad decision. A lie, a mistake, a person who walks into your life at exactly the wrong time. And sometimes, if you're lucky, that mistake teaches you how to finally become honest. I once hired Noah to pretend to be my boyfriend. I thought I was paying someone to protect my reputation. I was wrong. He didn't protect my reputation. He changed my life. And in the end, the only relationship I ever needed to prove was real, was the one where nobody was watching. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Hidden Love Stories for more emotional gay romance stories. Tell us in the comments. Would you ever agree to a fake relationship if you knew you might fall in love for real? Your support helps us bring more original love stories to the channel. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay with us for the next hidden love story.